Here's Mr. Krabs' first quarter. And here's his millionth dollar! Yep, he's a millionaire, all right, but he didn't need to be so freaky with it. Eugene H. Krabs has more money than sense, and all the years of being a penny pincher has stacked up the cash for him in a big way. Well, I put my accounting hat on to crunch the numbers to find out just how rich the tightest claw in the ocean really is, starting with how much money he makes in a year. The Krusty Krab is Bikini Bottom's biggest fast food restaurant, and kind of the only one in town. You got a few pop-up chains here and there, sure, but nothing with the staying power of the Krusty Krab. Well, unless you want to eat at the chum bucket, but who wants that?
Never even had one customer! So
let's work out how much Mr. Krabs manages to earn from his big business. We know that there are 538 Bikini Bottomites, and I like to say, no one's chowing down to the chum bucket, so I think it's fair to say, being the biggest food hotspot, most of those citizens eat there at least twice a week. So on average, that's 1,076 customers a week, or 180 customers a day. Not a bad bit of traction for a small town. Guessing what each customer spends is pretty tricky, but if we use the price of a standard Krabby Patty meal for every customer, I think that's fair. So that's $3.50. If we multiply that by 180, wait, hold on a minute. $3.50 for a whole meal? I thought this dude was supposed to be a cheapskate. That's insanely low. Bro, you know how much McDonald's charges for their Anyways, yeah, multiply $3.50 by 180. That means the Krusty Krab makes $630 per day, or $3,780 a week, which is a total of $196,560 a business. We'll talk about this more in detail later, but there are some expenses to come out of that, like employee salary and other overheads. After all that said and done though, Mr. Krabs is taking home about $2,591 a week, which comes out to $134,732 in profit every year for the crustaceous cheapskate. It's not all money for Krabs though, and despite paying little to no tax and hoarding most of his cash, there are times he has to fork out, by law, and that's in the case of his loyal Krusty crew, SpongeBob and Squidward. One of them loves working for him.
Isn't this great, Squidward? Just you and me together for hours and hours and hours, and then the sun will come up, and it'll be tomorrow, and we'll still be working.
And the other? Not so much.
Here, please hit me as hard as you can.
Squidward, I'm working in the kitchen. At night.
Don't hold back.
But the real question is, how much do they get paid? Well, officially, they're on the books as getting right around $30,000 a year each. That's according to some internet rumors and the video that the official SpongeBob YouTube channel put out. But I'm pretty sure they're on a lot less than that.
Wow, that's more than I make in a year.
Don't be asking me for a raise.
Let's give him the benefit of the doubt and say he pays the pair the $30K he states he does. Well, that's as good as they're getting anyway. He certainly won't be giving them any bonuses, 401ks, insurances, employee discounts, any healthcare benefits, and absolutely no overtime pay. The cheapskate don't even know what that means.
We're oversold, overspend. Overtime. More money per hour. Filthy, disgusting word.
It's not the greatest gig in the world, but when it's one of the only places to work in such a small town, you gotta get what you can get, even if you're paid well below what you should be.
I'm all out of money!
So for both of his workers, Mr. Krabs pays a very generous $60,000 a year. Although he scrimps and saves on them, there's another expense Mr. Krabs can't help but pay, and that's his daughter, Pearl. It's not a secret the kids ain't cheap, and Pearl's got the opposite gene to her dad. She loves to spend.
All money.
I'm right. You're getting more like your old man every day.
Thanks, Daddy.
Although Mr. Krabs has come up with a pretty cool way to give his daughter money without it costing him anything.
Hey, this isn't money.
No, it's even better. This is what Mr. Krabs pays me with. Mr. Krabs' Wacky Bucks.
Hey, maybe that $30K expense for SpongeBob was really generous. Anyway, the point is, an average 16-year-old kid would cost you around $15,000 a year to raise. Pearl certainly ain't average, but despite her much higher spending habits, Krabs finds other ways to cut corners, so he's probably still right around the $15K mark.
What is it, Daddy? It wouldn't be those totally hip new flipper slippers all my friends are wearing, would it?
It might be.
No, you shouldn't have! Yay, you shouldn't have! You really shouldn't have!
Those are the finest fishing boots available.
Dad, you ruined me!
But I got him for a bargain!
Another big expense for Mr. Krabs is that special lady he has on his claw, Mrs. Puff. See, the pair have been going on dates for years, specifically since the two met way back in the episode Krusty Love, and it's fair to say, for Mr. Krabs anyway, it was love at first sight.
Scrumptious, curvy cutie.
I see her, Mr. Krabs. A Krabby Patty with cheese. The classic.
Not the sandwich boy, the curvy cutie holding the sandwich.
No offense to her, but I wouldn't exactly call her a curvy cutie, but whatever lights your candle, Mr. K.
Obviously, he doesn't know much about her. With SpongeBob being one of her students, he gets the ball rolling for his boss.
Say hello. No, Mr. Krabs, just say hello.
He's not exactly a smooth operator, is he? But he doesn't need to be. He finally spits out the fact that he wants to take Mrs. Puff on a date. So he heads on home with SpongeBob to get ready before heading out. Problem is, though, when you're taking a woman like Mrs. Puff out, you can't exactly look like you're being the Scrooge. And Mr. K definitely pushes the boat out for her.
$100? Well, this can't possibly be correct.
Oh, my mistake, sir. Thank you for pointing that out. This is your bill.
How much are we guessing then? $500? $1,000? It was a pretty swanky day.
I don't understand, Mr. Krabs. How can you spend $100,000 in one night?
100,000? I know he went way above and beyond, but geez Louise, man. Were they drinking liquid gold or something? You think Krabs would have learned his lesson after spending more money than I would ever see in my entire frackin' life? He even gives his wallet to SpongeBob to look after. But you know what they say, love makes you do some pretty stupid stuff.
SpongeBob! Mrs. Puff needs a new fur coat! You're spending all my money! Puffy needs a new pair of shoes! You're breaking me, boy! She needs fine jewelry!
There is some good news for Eugene, though. Mrs. Puff isn't a gold digger, and she isn't exactly thrilled with being pampered so much.
Just don't feel comfortable accepting all these gifts. I'd rather go Dutch, if you don't mind.
Okay.
I can see why he likes her. Since this episode, Mr. Krabs and Mrs. Puff have been going on weekly dates for as long as I can remember.
Nothing's too good for my puffykins.
Yeah, and each time they creep me out. Anyway, let's be fair and say that the pair spent about $140 a week on dates. Well, as we just saw from the first time they went out on a date, Mrs. Puff likes to pay her fair share, so that's $70 a week coming out of Eugene's pocket. So multiplying 70 by 52, we'll know that Mr. Krabs pays around $3,640 on dates every single year. So if we add all those expenses up, we get a grand yearly total of $78,640. Apart from all that, Mr. Krabs doesn't really venture out and grab himself some classy clothes. He doesn't go on big vacations. He owns his home, he has no debt, and his margins for the restaurant are incredibly low, despite charging pretty much frackin' nothing for a Krabby Patty meal. So I'd say that his yearly expenses, adding everything together, is right around the $85,000 mark. Having an income is great, but your riches really start to show and grow when you tie them up in assets. Mr. K does have a few pretty big ones that are worth mentioning, like the time he set up a whole newspaper inside the Krusty Krab, and he had to get himself a printing press.
You think I spent all last night assembling this printing press so you could laze around all day?
One of those suckers would set Eugene back around $75K. That's the second-hand used price, of course. He won't be forking around $125,000 for a brand new press. Absolutely not. Honestly, lucky for him, the Krabby Chronicle wasn't a hit, because if he had to scale up his business, industrial printing presses can go upwards of $1 million. But hey, let's not forget that he's running a restaurant here, and when you're in the fast food biz, there are some things you can't really save on. Like, sure, printing presses are one thing, but when it comes to equipment, and more importantly, delivery equipment, you have to pay top dollar. And yes, if you didn't know, there was a time when the Krusty Krab delivered.
Back it up!
Give me the wheels, SpongeBob! Give me the wheels!
Backing up!
I think he's gonna need a new boat.
Well, actually, there's another boat that Mr. Krabs had built, but this is like next level.
The Patty Wagon. Mr. Krabs uses it for promotional reasons.
I don't know why the frick he had this, but the Patty Wagon is a hot piece of property. Not only is it a fully functional boat, but it's also directly linked to the Krusty Krab, so that raises its value immediately. The average cost of a boat is usually $25,200, but seeing as this was specially handmade and is a one-of-a-kind machine, I think this would be valued way easily around the $87,500 mark. If I had that type of cash in my pocket, I'd buy that sweet ride off him in no time. Talking to sweet rides though, I know boats are cars in Bikini Bottom, and Mr. Krabs actually does own a real boat, the SS Cheapskate, which we saw when he took the boys fishing in the episode Clams.
Clam fishing. This is the reward we get for all our hard work? Fishing for stinky clams in a smelly old boat on a filthy lagoon?
It is by no means the most expensive boat in the world. It's completely run down and it's pretty small and smelly. So I can't see Krabs getting anything more than a bargain basement price for this, which is right around the 32 grand mark compared to secondhand boats of a similar size. Then we gotta cover his house. See, it may look like a giant anchor, but it's actually a nice cozy on home. It's got 3 bedrooms and a really spacious lawn out front and back where you can do some gardening.
Aha! Keep away from my precious little flower! You almost stepped on it.
Seeing as the closest state to Bikini Bottom is Hawaii, if we just jump on over to Zillow real quick, see that the average 3-bed house in Hawaii is about $840,000. I actually think that having a home that looks like an anchor is fun, but I doubt Mr. Krabs will be able to sell his house for the average price. And as things are only worth what someone will pay, I think we knock 60 grand off the price and get it to $780,000. Alongside the Krusty Krab, there was another food-related business venture Mr. Krabs started, and it had to do with jellyfish jelly. More specifically, jellyfish jelly Krabby Patties.
Sandwich, it's the tastiest sandwich in the sea.
Seeing how much of a hit the jellyfish jelly is with the customers, Krabs decides he's gonna need to buy an entire factory to process the jellyfish and make as much jelly as he could ever need, although it's not exactly the most ethical of processes.
Remember that factory?
You know what I mean? He's basically battery farming the poor suckers. But we're not here to talk about jellyfish cruelty. We're here to talk about how much that factory would cost. In the United States of Americas, the average yearly cost of buying and operating a seafood processing facility is right around the $2 million mark. So it's a pretty hefty purchase for Eugene, especially when it backfires.
Exercise craze.
Okay, so that business was a bit of a failure, but hey, he's still got a business that's a serious success, and it's easily his biggest asset.
There it is. The finest eating establishment ever established for eating. The Krusty Krab.
And it's a big money maker too. I mentioned it a little while ago that the Krusty Krab makes around $130,000 profit a year. If that was a business in the real world, it'd only be sold for like $650,000. But the Krusty Krab is a serious intellectual property, and it's actually been bought for millions in the show.
It's not about the money. Holy sweet mother of pearl! I like the way you think, Blandy, but it's gonna take a lot more than a suitcase full of cash to buy the Krusty Krab for me.
Oh, there's a lot more than that. The rest is over there.
So I think it's only fair to add a fair chunk to the overall price. I'd say if you really wanted to buy the Krusty Krab, you'd be looking at paying around $3,500,000. Oh, and don't worry, Mr. Krabs bought it back.
I'll buy it for full price!
Sold. We won't need your contract.
That's pretty much all of his big mainstay assets. So if we add them all up, they're worth an approximate $6,499,700. Here it is, the moment you've all been waiting for. Let's find out how much this crab has hoarded away. At the time of writing, it's 2025, and SpongeBob has been on the air since 1999, so that's 26 years of approximate operation for the Krusty Krab. We know that in a single year, the restaurant turns over $196,560, so if we multiply that figure by the 26 years they've been open, that means the restaurant has done $5,110,560 worth of business over that time. But we obviously have to cover expenses too. So we know in a year, Krabs usually has to fork over 85 grand. If we also multiply that by 26, we get $2,210,000. Subtracting $2,210,000 from $5,110,560, we get $2,900,560 of clean, pure profit going straight into into the pocket of Mr. Krabs. But that's not even everything. We know he's got $6,499,700 sitting in assets, so that means Eugene Harold Krabs' total net worth, which has been built on the backs of other people, stands at $9,400,260. Not bad at all. And just think, if Bikini Bottom suddenly had an influx of residents, Krabs could skyrocket his fortune even further. Well, that's all the nautical financial nonsense we've got for you today, but if you haven't quite checked out all the cartoon chaos on the channel so far, click the video on screen right about now, and I guarantee you will be crazed out of your mind. I don't know what that means, but you're gonna enjoy it. Thanks for watching, y'all.